What is going on, Packers fans? And you must be a Packers fan if you're here after that debacle of a game from the green and gold in Las Vegas, dropping another tough game to the Las Vegas Raiders on Monday Night Football, 17-13. I mean, the Packers can't get out of their own way. That has been a common theme throughout the last 3 weeks. There are signs, there are moments, there are hints and allegations, but ultimately, this is a team that continues to shoot itself in the foot and do some of the more simple things that should be easily executed on a football field in an erroneous manner. And I know, and I've looked at some of the chats already, and I know some people have a bit of a level head, and I appreciate that. And some people are ready to fire everybody, and I'm here to tell you, no one's getting fired. The bye week could not come at a better time for a team that is absolutely reeling after another just abysmal performance, especially on offense. And look, let's address this right out of the gate. I know Joe Barry's defense is frustrating to watch at times, and it certainly was through stretches tonight against what's a pretty pedestrian offensive attack from the Raiders. I understand that frustration, but anyone expecting Joe Barry to be fired, especially after tonight, just doesn't know what they're looking at. I mean, it is a complete and fundamental lack of complementary football. And Matt LaFleur knows this. He's not only the one who brought Joe Barry back after last year, but he knows that's a game, and he said it in his postgame presser tonight. That's a game where if you're giving up 17 points in the National Football League, that's a game you should win. And by the way, the defense is allowed to do many different things if you have any semblance of a competent offense. If they're heading into the fourth quarter with the Raiders having scored 10 points up until that final quarter, Joe Barry's whole mindset as a play caller is totally different. If his team has got a lead or even is like exhibiting any kind of ability to move the football, which the Packers just didn't. It's mind-numbing to me how much Matt LaFleur seems to want to do so much with these young players, but he doesn't want to feature the talent that he has on the offensive side of the ball. I understand there are a lot of worries when you're dealing with, especially on the road and trying to mitigate their pass rush, especially Max Crosby, who you saw is a major problem and a very, very, very good player. But man, when you cause your entire operation to revolve around, well, we've got to worry about this man on every single play. I get it. He's a game wrecker. But when it causes you to suddenly, apparently, design your game plan around Patrick Taylor at times or Luke Musgrave or even Ben Sims at times, I just, you've got to be thinking players, not plays. Your whole game plan has to be revolving around Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson. And I get it, man. Dobbs had a drop late in the game, and Dobbs, is the target on the interception, the first one that Jordan Love threw, which was terrible. But the fact that they're somewhat of an afterthought until it's, oh gosh, we need to move the football now, I don't think it does them any good. It certainly doesn't do the Packers offense any good. I'm just left mystified. I will say, though, to Matt, big-time credit, he absolutely leaned on the running game tonight in a way he definitely needed to against this Raiders defense. And you finally saw fruits of that labor, so to speak. I mean, it's amazing what a little blocking can do for a guy. A.J. Dillon actually looked like A.J. Dillon tonight. I thought he ran really well, actually had some places to run as opposed to other weeks. And I thought he ran with some determination and some power that we haven't seen. It was really good to get him in the end zone. And look, I know people are going to quibble about the play calls after the turnover, and they're down there. Matt had just run the ball a number of times and gotten a touchdown with A.J. Dillon. Comes back, rams it into the line twice. I don't kill him for that. Yes, the Raiders adjusted and played it pretty damn well, but I don't kill him. I don't hate that. You're running the ball and you're being successful against a team that has had trouble stopping the run all year. Now, the third down call, who knows, man? I got to see the all 22, but the first and second down calls to AJ, I saw so many people killing him for that, and I'm like, I have zero problem with that. But pulling back and looking 30,000 feet, man, I don't know. I saw a lot of Jordan Love slander on Twitter and in our chat tonight. And I know these people don't watch Packers Daily here at Cheesehead TV on the regular because I spent all summer telling you guys this was coming. There are going to be tough stretches. There's going to be stretches of good play, things that are promising, and then there's going to be stretches where it's ugly. It is like 93, 94 Favre ugly at times for Jordan. That first interception is one of the worst throws I'll ever see on a football field. No question about it. That doesn't mean he didn't do nice things as well. It doesn't mean he didn't have nice plays, good plays, exceptional plays, because he did. But, yeah, it's tough for Jordan right now. Defenses are starting to adjust. Welcome to the NFL. Now Matt has a bye week to hopefully, maybe, get him in some better positions. Do a little bit more to help get those receivers unlocked. These are the ebbs and flows of the season, and I understand people are going to call for everyone's firing, say that Jordan Love sucks and all of that, and that's fine. It's probably not the channel for you, though, because I don't roll like that. The Packers don't roll like that. And, if you're a bandwagon fan who was only here for the Rodgers years and now you want to jump, I get it. I'll be here when you get back. It's all good. Hello to everybody in the comments section. So good to see you all. We got a bunch of super chats. Tyler starting us off. Came into 2023 accepting growing pains, so this is expected, but why can't Matt LaFleur coach the team he has on offense, doing no favors for his young team? Couldn't agree more. I thought Corey hit on it really well during Watch Party. I mean, it's very apparent when they're trying to do too much, it does tend to fall apart. They do have lots of self-inflicted wounds. When he keeps it somewhat simple, and I'm not saying you got to do, day one install stuff, but somewhat simple, the team can execute a little better. And they're young. So, yes, of course. I don't think that's a surprise in any way. Max, Christian, thanks so much for the membership here at Carry the G Club. Really appreciate you, buddy. We need to practice what we preached in the offseason about letting a young team grow, especially on offense, telling myself that to stay positive. Look, there's zero reason to hold back when things are frustrating in regards to, the game by game. Oh, why didn't they do this? Or what? This is so ridiculous. Or, calling out bad plays or play calls that you think are ridiculous or blah, blah, blah. I get all that. But I also understand, yes, that kind of perspective. Like, you get past the game and you're like, all right, that was frustrating. Where do they go from here? Because that's the question. And it's also a very long season. The NFL is littered with teams throughout its history who meandered through the first part of the season and then gelled and coalesced down the back half and came maybe on the precipice of making the playoffs or, hell, made a run, etc. I'm not forecasting that. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but we have no idea what's going to happen down the stretch. And I think, getting a little healthier on the back end of the bye, we'll see what happens. But I think that's a healthy perspective, man. Abdul, thanks for the super chat. Hey, Aaron, I know this was going to be a challenging season, but how does an offensive coach not score more than 20 points this season other than the Bears game? Also, Love kept bailing out of the pocket and panicking. Hope it's not a trend. I don't know, man. I don't agree with that last part. The first part, yeah, it's apt. It's disconcerting that they're not scoring more. But the problem is they keep putting themselves behind the eight ball so many times, even as well as A.J. ran tonight. Like that opening drive is a perfect example of they were doing well. They were staying ahead of the sticks, pretty efficient on offense until they ran that counter play, and they've got a lane for A.J. to run through, and he, for whatever reason, says nah and cuts back to his left for no gain, and now they're behind the sticks, changed the whole tenor of that drive. But those are the kind of things, whether it's a holding call or a drop pass, these are the things that put them behind the sticks that they cannot overcome. They're too young and they're too inexperienced. They're not good enough to do those things. So that's why they're not scoring more. I mean, you've got to get down into the red zone. And here's the other thing. When they get into the red zone, they're pretty good. They're one of the best in the league, as a matter of fact. Problem is the last 3 weeks, they haven't been in the red zone a whole lot. Relentless. Thanks for the super chat, man. So do we even have wide receivers? This is what I'm talking about. They do. It'd be nice if they utilize them. Vex, thanks for super chat. Give the ball to Dobbs. What a sad, sad showing. Yeah, well, it wasn't good, Vex. I'm with you there. Will, thanks for Super Chat, man. What's wrong with the deep ball so far? Well, it's interesting because I do kind of go back and forth with, oh, they're not connecting and, oh, be patient. And then there's other times where I'm like, what is Jordan looking at? He had that deep one to read early in the game where why are you throwing that ball, man? Like, I have no idea what you're looking at, no idea what you're seeing. Again, young quarterback, just starting out. I get it. There's going to be looks that confuse you, what have you. But at the same time, it'd be nice if his deep threat made an effort at the ball once in a while. I mean, I know a lot will be made about that last play, but I don't even like that. That is what it is. Like, I think obviously it's underthrown. Like the DB has better position, etc. So I don't quite kill Christian for that one. But man, that one where Love placed it in his hands down the seam there. That's Christian Watson 101. Like, you got to catch that. That you're one-on-one. Love lays it in there along the inside of the seam. Like, it's right there for you. You got to catch that, buddy. That's got to be his. So, yeah, it's just a tick off here or there. Dustin, thanks for the Super Chat. Tonight the problem was not Joe Barry. It was Matt. I 100% agree. No notes. Preston, thanks for the Super Chat. Granted, these are different circumstances, and I wasn't alive to see them, but is this offense as bad as the teams you've mentioned from the 80s? No. This doesn't approach the 80s. Victor, thanks for the Super Chat. Players not play, as great mind once said, so I heard. Couldn't agree more, Victor. Could not agree more. Eric, thanks for the Super Chat. Interesting note from Jair Alexander. At this point, it's pretty obvious that the defense has to not give up any touchdowns. Yeesh. Things are getting spicy in that locker room. We'll see how that plays. We will see how that plays. I mean, he's a vet, man. He's played at a high level for a long time. I'm sure he's sick of it. I'm sure a lot of the guys on the defense are sick of it. No doubt. That's a high-pressure situation. Got to score some points. Soto, thanks for the Super Chat, man. They desperately need a healthy Aaron Jones. You think? Now, here's the thing. Who knows? Back end of the bye week, Aaron Jones comes back. They start scoring 20-plus points every game. This will all maybe not be forgotten, but everybody will be looking at things in a really different light. It's a long season. They got a long way to go. But yes, in the worst way. Godsmack, thanks for the Super Chat. Matt has called some good games as a head coach, but I'm tired of his generic press conferences after losses and failing to make necessary adjustments. That is 100% understandable, man. I'm with you. I think he has called some good games. I think he's called some mind-numbingly, what would be the word? Mind-numbingly mysterious games, for lack of a better term. And yes, it is frustrating when you hear the same platitudes over and over and nothing changes. We'll see. The bye week should afford them some time and opportunity to make those changes. But hell, that change could be as simple as add Aaron Jones. We'll see. Eric, thanks for the Super Chat. On the last play, was Watson open, but 10 couldn't hit him sooner because that same time he has to escape the pocket. A lot of ball game left. Stay the course. Eric, yes, that's exactly what happened. I know on the replay, on the broadcast, they show Watson on the fly once he knows he's by the corner. He throws his hand up, and Watson is, yes, breaking contain and outside the pocket, and then he sees Watson late, and he hurries the throw. That's why it's underthrown. That's why the defensive back has time to go get in position. It's a bit of a moon ball. Like, if he sees that in rhythm, yeah, it's a touchdown. But, he's avoiding pressure. And that's part of the gig, But yes, Eric. Mimsy, thanks for the Super Chat. Matt LaFleur must design his game plan on Madden rookie mode. Doesn't ever seem to have a coherent approach against a real-life defense in front of him. I don't know, man. I'm not ready to say that this man who has coached in the NFL for any number of years and has coordinated offense at the highest level of the game is doing anything on Madden rookie mode. He's struggling right now. He's struggling. There's no two ways about that. Ryan out here with a hot take. Fire Matt LaFleur. No creativity in the playbook. Been saying since mid-2022, Week 1 and 2 was flashes of it. Love isn't the problem, maybe, but generally, no. Love isn't the problem. Tonight, I think you mean, but generally, no. Matt LaFleur isn't getting fired. Relax. Take a deep breath. It's a long season. Yes, like I just said, he's struggling mightily. But that's why it's a marathon and not a sprint. They don't hand out anything after week 5. Just relax. Justin, thanks for the super chat. Feel like people are using tonight to confirm their priors on Love. I'm not really overly discouraged because it feels like an entire offense problem. Justin, you're a wise man. Professor Flex, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. How did pass protection go south so damn fast? Well, they're facing 2 of the best pass rushers in the game week after week. I mean, last week it was Hutchinson. This week it's Crosby. Those guys are good. It ain't like, you can just throw numbers at them. You saw the one where they tried bringing over tight ends, 2 like a back and a tight end to help the tackle, and he still got pressure. You know what I mean? Like, these are the premier dudes. Like, I understand it, and that is undoubtedly why Matt was calling things so kind of tight to the vest, so to speak, like lots of short stuff, lots of quick game out to Taylor and company, because he knew, like, you can't hold up against, you can't stand back there and go 7-step drop and survey the field and let deep routes develop. I mean, if anything, we should be happy that Matt didn't have that approach the same way he did against Detroit. At least it was a little different in that regard. But yeah, man, those dudes are good. Cheddarhead, thanks to the super chat. Just left the stadium, sat 15 rows from the Packers sideline. Still have faith and love, but one thing I noticed, Sean Clifford, every single time out, warming up like he's about to play. Kid's got heart. Well, that's literally his job as a backup, but I hear you, man. You got to be ready. You're one play away. Cheddarhead, thanks again. Also, Raiders fans 10 times more respectful than Niners fans. Oh, I could have told you that. 100%. Like, not even close. Dustin, thanks for the super chat. Got to lose 3 to go 14-3. It's just science. Go Pack. Dustin, you're going to do this every week, aren't you? I love it, man. Mode, thanks to the super chat. How can the offense improve over the bye when we still struggled after having 10 days off? Also, why is Preston Smith covering Devontae in the red zone? Well, the Preston Smith on Devontae thing didn't happen in the red zone, did it? No, it was out in midfield. And, man, that whole Preston and Devontae thing is just crystallization of how Joe's just not a good or great defensive coordinator. Like, he can design a defense, and he knows what he's doing as far as the football X's and O's go. But, man, the best defenses don't have that happen. And they certainly don't have that kind of thing happen repeatedly. We saw it last year where Preston ended up on Justin Jefferson. Now we see it tonight against Devontae. It's like because coordinators know how they can take advantage of you. It's that simple. And that's what McDaniels did tonight. It's what O'Connell did last year. It's because Joe's not a very good defensive coordinator. Now, again, it's not the reason they lost tonight. Not even close. But, yeah, he's just not good at his job. Carl, thanks for the super chat. I'm missing the illusion of complexity. Must be staying away from it due to the youth on offense. I wish Matt would have tried a short crosser. I was begging for some mesh tonight. I was begging for any of these kind of, run them off and then run something shallow underneath. I'm with you, man. And the illusion of complexity, how they're not using Reed as more of a Tyler Irvin type, I have no idea. Yeah, I thought we'd see a lot more of that, and we've seen very little of it. I mean, we've seen some motion, but like in the kind of like early 2000s version of motion, not like anything resembling the orbit stuff or any of the fun stuff we saw in 2020. I don't know, man. Yeah, it's been hard. Steve, thanks, man. I'm patience with Love. Our young wide receivers tight end need to catch the ball to help. It will come. It's part of the development. Very much agreed. Ben, thank you for the super sticker. Randy, hard to tell without seeing the all-22, but it sure looked like Love had 15-plus yards to run in that final play. Lots of one-on-one routes tonight and no scheme. Yeah, a lot of spread stuff, right? There are times when it just looks like Mike McCarthy's back. And, yeah, on that last play, it sure did. I mean, I got to go, and I know Matt said he's got to go look at it. I got to go look at it. But, yeah, it sure looked like he could run. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's a safety crashing down out of frame. We don't really know. But, Yeah, I'm with you. I thought once he broke contain, I saw him looking downfield, but I thought, okay, he's going to tuck it and run, get out of bounds, another first down. But as we like to say, he just chucked it for Jesus. What are you going to do? Except pray. Cameron, thanks, man. Obviously not all on Matt LaFleur, but it is a scary thought that since he was hired, we have had the same four-ish issues on both offense and defense. Cameron, you are not incorrect, sir. And that's a pretty astute observation. Matt, thank you, sir. I'm going with head scratchers. Going with head scratchers. A lot of head scratchers out there tonight. Ben, thank you, man. Are the last 2 weeks plagued by defensive wreckers, guys like Crosby? So it's hard to really judge. These dudes mess with Rodgers too, especially if you can play coverage on the back end. Now, what they did tonight that they didn't do last week was run the ball, and that helped them to a degree, right? Got ahead of the sticks a little bit. Can't really pin your ears back, but yeah, they faced some wreckers. But now, don't get it twisted. That's a bad defense. The Raiders' defense is bad, and the fact that they couldn't move the ball despite Crosby's presence is a pretty damning indictment of what they were trying to cook up. No doubt about it. Colin, thank you, man. Will Quay be missed on D as A. Jones was on O? I don't know about to that extent, but yeah, he'll be missed. His speed, athleticism, his ability to fly sideline to sideline, be everywhere, make those tackles, yeah, he'll be missed. Now, I don't know. I didn't see any reporting on the severity of his knee injury, and they are going into a bye, which helps, obviously, but we'll see. I will say, McDuffie had a couple of nice plays tonight. I know we saw Wilson out there as well, but yeah, he'll definitely be missed. He's a really good football player, no doubt about it. Michael, thanks, man. At what point do you know whether Love has got it? That's a great question. I don't know, man. Ask Twitter. They all seem to have the answers out there saying that. Like someone said earlier, a lot of people confirming their priors. I always said by the old adage, the old coaching / NFL adage was like about 8 starts. 8 to 9 starts you should know. You should have a good idea of who a guy is. And, we've obviously seen him start, 6 games total, 5 this season. The defensive coordinators are certainly starting to adjust, take away things that he probably wants to do and or likes. But guys are making plays as well on defense, and he's got to learn when to when to push, when to pull, when to press it, and when to hold back. And I thought he pressed a little bit too much tonight, but yeah, typically about 8-9 games. Ryan, thanks again, man. How much does this team miss Bakhtiari, and do we need a vet wide receiver? Well, the vet wide receiver ain't going to happen. I mean, what do you want? Another washed-up veteran wideout off the scrap heap? They're going to let these young guys play. They're going to let them continue to develop and or, make mistakes and learn from them, hopefully. But, yeah, no, they've got the talent they need. They need these guys to play and continue to grow together, and that's what they're going to do. Yeah, vet wide receiver is not going to change much. But how much does this team miss Bakhtiari? A whole hell of a lot, man. A whole hell of a lot. Ryan, thanks again, man. Nixon had a rough game, too. Shout out Rashawn freaking Gary. Pay him, man. Yeah, the price is only going up. Nixon was up and down as usual. I mean, the one that kills you is that play where, they're in the red zone and Ross Sewell's playing off Devon. That if he drives on that football rather than falls back and expects it to fall in his lap, essentially. If he drives on that ball, that's a pick. That's his ball. But I also saw him make some nice plays against the run. He's physical. He sticks his nose in there. He's not afraid of the physicality part, so I can't completely kill him. Rob, thanks, man. You're only as good as your last game, and we just lost to the Raiders. The effing Raiders. Well, yeah, like I said on Gut Reactions, yes, they're bad. Right now, sitting here on October 10th, they are bad. But the end of the season determines what kind of year and or team you are, not October 10th. Soder, thanks, man. No Jones and no Bakhtiari with a first-year quarterback. So who is this guy on offense that you build a game plan around? LaFleur is in a big hole right now. Yeah, he's floundering. That's why I say, A, you got to run the ball, which they did tonight, but then B, let's bunch sets, condensed formations, use these rub routes, get your mesh game going, get whatever Watson, Reed, Wicks, whoever on these crossing patterns. Start crossing people to death, especially if they're going to play these 2 high shells on you. I'm with you, man. Scotty, thanks for the super chat. Seemed like Love had a lot of hit the bottom of his drop and rip to the right read during the first couple games. What changed? Teams adjusted. And they're calling slightly different types of, offensive game plan, what have you. But yeah, no, teams, are doing a pretty decent job of trying to take away that first kind of set, that first where he's looking. They're driving on it. Now, I do think, and I said this during watch party, at some point, especially with some of that underneath stuff, got to start pump and go on some of that. At least just once a half. At least keep them honest. Because we've seen a lot of defensive backs flying up to these kind of stop routes, these curl routes, what have you. Even the deep ins or where the safety or the corner is flying in right at the point where they see Jordan kind of, set and start to throw it. Give him a pump and go at least once. And I'm not saying it's not backyard football. I understand you can't do it all the time, but you got to start making these defensive backs think a little bit more. Because right now they're just driving on the ball instantly. Reed, thanks to the super chat, man. So is Crosby just better than Wyatt, Van Ness, Gary, Clark? Seems like our first-round picks just ain't it compared to a fourth-rounder. When are you people, and then Reed, I don't mean to lump you in with you people, but when are you people going to understand that the draft industrial complex has rotted your brains? It doesn't matter where you were selected. It matters what you do when you get on the football field. And to that point, I loved Crosby coming out of the draft. We got Packers daily receipts to prove it because it just matters if you can play ball. And now a lot of it has to do with what's the system, who are your teammates, what's your coaching staff, what's the scheme, all the mix, the stew that you're put into matters a lot. That's why college tape means very little, right? The Packers value athleticism. They value athletic upside. To their detriment, discuss amongst yourselves. But Max Crosby has all the heart and the desire and the drive and the want to and whatever other cliche platitude you want to utilize to go with athleticism. And maybe not elite athleticism, but damn, that's a guy that gets after it. And also, by the way, did you just say Crosby is better than Rashawn Gary? Come on now. Rashawn Gary is as good as Max Crosby, if not better. Ronald, thanks to the super chat. Packers need to trade for LaBoomstick Body Bag the third to play safety. Did you lose a bet that you had to put that in there? It's pretty good, though. Sam, thanks to the super chat. Fire Dom Capers. We're there? We're there now? Okay. Braden, thanks to the super chat, man. What frustrates me the most is this team does not answer the bell when the defense makes a stop or gets a turnover. Yeah. Complimentary football, man. We saw the tiniest glimpse of it tonight, and it was beautiful. But yeah. Accidental Hero, what's up, man? What Depeche Mode tune do you suggest as I try to shake this off? Oh man, that's a tough one. Fly on the windscreen. There you go. Eric, thanks again, man. Tough loss, but just remember, it's still not as bad as having a good sex with Sheldon. Thanks for your time, Nags. Helps me with losses like this. No, Eric, you did not have good sex with Sheldon. If you need, you need taxes done, you need a root canal, Sheldon's your man. But humping and pumping is not Sheldon's strong suit. If you know what that movie is, I commend you. If you don't, I'm sorry. All right, buddy, I got to get going. I cannot thank you guys enough for hanging out this late at night after a brutal Packers loss. I appreciate each and every one of you. It's tough. It always sucks losing a game going into the bye week because you have all 2 weeks to stew about it before the Packers play again. So I recommend getting away from it all. But if you just can't, if you're a sicko like me, I'll be here each and every day, Monday through Friday on Packers Daily, and hell, I might even do stuff on the weekends. But the CHTV YouTube channel will be pumping out content, as will the website. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Packers, they're in a mess. They are a mess right now. And Matt LaFleur has to figure it out and clean it up. Of that, there is zero doubt. All right, everybody. Can't thank you enough. Have a great night. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow on Packers Daily and Carry the G Radio. Tomorrow at noon until 2 Central Time. We'll be live at 97.3 The Game throughout Wisconsin and right here on the Cheesehead TV YouTube channel. Please, I think Billy's only making it for one segment, so I'm going to need your chats. I'm going to need your texts and calls. So please come and participate. It's going to be a lot of fun, or maybe the opposite of that. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great night. Go Pack Go.